Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Donald Glover getting in trouble on social media because he said he thinks cancel culture is having a negative impact on entertainment. That people are afraid to take chances and that everything is boring.
I thought maybe he got canceled because of Community, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, he would know about this, right? There were episodes of Community that were pulled because they were too edgy, and we're talking about a show that hasn't even been off the air for 10 years.
Community's really good. Go watch Community.
Community's damn good.
Community is very good.
Community's like one of the...
calls out this shit all the time.
Oh, yeah, and that's problematic. That was one of the last really good sitcoms, I think, that we got, was Community. But, yeah, so he's getting some pushback on Twitter, people trying to make excuses for him, saying that he was talking about shows getting canceled because they're boring, not about cancel culture. If you actually read his tweets, which we're going to read, no, it does seem like he's actually talking about the fear of being canceled for saying the wrong thing is leading to very safe, very boring entertainment.
So the answer is yes, he's saying both things.
I think it's both. Because if it's boring, people don't watch it and then it gets canceled anyway. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe. For more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys, we're over 188,000 subs.
Woohoo!
Smash that sub button. Smash it good.
Yeah, we need more subs.
We need more subs, yeah. Make sure you're still subscribed. YouTube has a tendency to unsubscribe people from our channel and then subscribe them to other channels.
Wait, to subscribe to other channels?
Yeah, people have been telling us in the comments that they find themselves subscribed to channels they've never watched before.
Well, that's weird.
They're being re-educated.
I don't know.
Don't watch Clownfish TV. Go watch this.
What would be funny would
baking
be
channel.
is if it was something that was like, you know, the opposite of what we were saying. Their channel says the opposite of us, and they got suddenly, you know, subscribed to that channel instead.
If that is happening to you, I'd love for people to leave comments. I mean, we can't read all the comments. Obviously, we get a lot, but I do skim them from time to time. It'd be very interesting to see what channels you're being automatically subbed to. It's probably whoever.
Funny. I didn't know that. I knew people were unsubbed. I didn't know they were getting subs someplace else. Very weird. Anyway, continue.
Anyway, let's talk about this because he's going to be playing Lando Calrissian eventually. Again, in the Lando series that's supposed to come to Disney Plus someday.
Someday, yeah.
Sometime. But it is interesting because, like you said, Community did call out, political correctness.
I loved Community. It was so good.
And it was great because it had a diverse cast, and you know what? Everybody got along really well, at least on camera.
Well, I love they had diverse cast, but they weren't afraid to call things out, and like they went there, like, you know, because I'm black kind of things, stuff like that. And it was done in a way that, you know, kind of called people out, but it was funny at the same time. So it was entertaining. But it was great, and it was just like, you know, I love it. It was such a good show. Go watch that show.
It was one of the last great ensemble comedies.
Before they take it off completely until you can't watch it anymore because the butthurt police on Twitter decided that you can't watch it anymore.
Were they part of the Village people?
The butthurt police?
The butthurt police?
No, they're the ones.
Oh, they're the hurt butt police. I'm sorry.
It's just like, no, but I'm just like, go watch the show before you're not allowed to anymore. Because it's a matter of time until they say that you're not allowed to watch that show anymore because they have to control what you think and how you say or speak. And you need to know that you can't watch that kind of stuff.
So a lot of news outlets picking up on this again. We had, people on Twitter trying to say that, he's talking about, shows getting canceled because they're boring. That doesn't seem to be what he's talking about. They've reached out to him for comment. He has not commented yet. I don't know how often he tweets. He's probably busy in the real world like most of us.
Right.
But New York Post has an article on it. He said, where's all the good TV gone? Donald Glover would like to know. The Atlanta creator hopped on Twitter late Tuesday night. A rare occurrence. There we go. A rare occurrence for the historically discreet star because he knows better. He knows better. To join a conversation happening on social media about the state of the screen business, his succinct hot take is currently being disputed, however, due to confusion over the use of his word canceled. His reps did not respond to the post request for clarification.
You shouldn't have to, because I wouldn't, let them think what they want to think.
So he doesn't tweet. I didn't think he did. He doesn't tweet very often. That is very, very smart. Because anything...
he's a smart dude.
Yeah, anything you tweet can and will be used against you at a later date, even if it's 10 years later. Because again, cancel culture. The 37-year-old actor and director, also known as rapper Childish Gambino in the music world, launched his career in Hollywood and Community in 30 Rock. We got that. He's in Atlanta. We got that. The biz ain't what it used to be, according to Glover. Saw people on here having a discussion about how tired they were of reviewing boring stuff, TV and film.
It is boring. We call it out here all the time. You're like, Hollywood, no one wants to watch this shit.
No.
It's dull, and it's usually you're being told what to think.
We're getting boring stuff and not even experimental mistakes because people are afraid of getting canceled. That's not, no. I'm telling you what his context is. He's not saying, he would say, they're afraid of getting their shows canceled. No, people are afraid of getting canceled personally.
This is like what the comedians are coming out and saying. You're not allowed to say anything anymore because even if it's thought-provoking, because it might make somebody mad and then Twitter will cancel you.
I'll go to another article where they talk about this being like, oh my God, it's the right-wing talking point of cancel culture. Billy Crystal came out against it. It's so many comedians have come out.
You don't have to agree with what they're saying, but you have to understand that they should be allowed to say it. And the problem is that no one's allowed to say anything for fear that somebody's going to get pissed about it and then send hate mobs to get you fired.
Sarah Silverman came out against it. I mean, we've had so many comedians just in the last couple of months that are like, this has gone far enough. We're not allowed to be funny. You can
put the wrong amount of boxes up for something and they try to cancel you. It's absolutely ridiculous. And if you don't give your tweet of support or unity or whatever, you're canceled for that too. You cannot win with these people. You go down the cancellation thing, whether you agree with their points or not. As soon as it starts, you're never going to win because at some point they're going to come after you. It always happens. So let's not cancel people over stuff like this. It's stupid.
I mean, anymore, why would anybody be afraid of having their show canceled? Because everybody's going to Netflix and you get canceled after 6 episodes anyway.
I mean, yeah, Netflix, they realize everything, cancels it.
He said, so they feel like they can only experiment with the aesthetic. Also because some of them know they're not that good. Many responded to Glover's proclamation with disdain for seeming to side with an increasingly popular talking point that cancel culture is out of control.
Because it's true.
It's true.
Maybe the reason people are siding with it, of course they don't want to hear that. The people that are out there canceling everybody because they want to control everything and thinking they're getting their own way don't want to hear people saying that cancel cultures, they keep saying, oh, it's not real. Bullshit, it's not real. It is completely real. And everybody knows it. Everybody sees it. I mean, it's like the Emperor's New Clothes. Just because you say he's got a great outfit on doesn't make it true. You just don't want to hear that maybe you're full of shit and that people are tired of your crap.
Hollywood elites have nothing to complain about, so they just bitch about cancel culture as if they aren't the most famous people in the world, said one critic. Except that's not what Glover's talking about, according to readers in the replies. He's talking about movies, TV shows being canceled, but everyone's brains are so poisoned by Twitter, they think he's talking about cancel culture and getting mad. Said YouTube
He's
gamer.
talking about both.
I think it's both. Because again, boring shows leads to cancellation.
Right.
It leads you to cancel it because nobody's going to watch it.
But the thing is, you can't be interesting or controversial because if you are, that's not true. If you go with the way they want you to go on Twitter, I'm just going to say, if you go really, 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 really far left, then it's okay. Then it's good. You can do that, but you can't do anything that's not extremely far left, or you'll be canceled. And it's like, so the only thing they don't try to cancel is things they agree with. So It's still one point of view, and that's all you ever get. It's the same way you see with these people when they block anyone who disagrees with them. So they only ever hear back what they want to, their echo chamber of their own BS. Everybody likes their own brand, I guess. I don't know, but I'm just saying that's what they surround themselves with, only hearing what they want to hear instead of the truth. And this is what you get.
Yeah, and look, I mean, if this is what he's saying, he's not. People have reached out to him to clarify, and he doesn't tweet very much. Honestly,
and maybe it's not. Who knows? We're not him.
No, if this is what he's saying, though, and we'll say it, and TV has become very, very safe, very sanitized, and so many great TV shows, so many comedies, so many animated series could not exist in today's climate. Mm-hmm. I mean, again, Community, not even off the air for a decade.
It would never be approved now.
It would never get approved. Half those episodes, they'd never get approved.
Mm-hmm. Or it would get approved for diversity reasons, but you weren't allowed to say anything other than telling everybody that you're an istophobe and,
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the funny show we got that was thought-provoking, funny. But, there was jokes, but you're like, wait, we shouldn't be doing that. It was done in a way that was entertaining.
Right.
And great.
And real. Really?
You can't have entertainment now. It's not okay. Because if you don't agree with people on Twitter's opinion of what entertainment is, it's because you're an istophobe. You should be canceled.
Well, again, did the video the other day talking about Billy Crystal saying that comedy is, mostly dead at this point. And, Jerry Seinfeld would not be allowed on the air today. It would be so heavily edited. It would be such a heavy-handed thing, and it would be every episode would be a morality lesson. And the whole joke of Seinfeld, which they played up in the last episode, which was terrible, but the whole point of it is that they're all bad people. They're all bad people doing shitty things, but it's funny to watch them try to get away with doing shitty things.
And it makes you think.
Yeah.
That's the point. You're not allowed to think anymore. You're only allowed to think what Twitter says you can think.
Yeah, so he's not, if that's what he's saying, he's not wrong. And I think we're going to see more pushback. I think we need to, and it's going to come from comedians. It's going to come from comedians. It's going to come from musicians. I was talking the other day. I said, we're going to see something, and we're seeing, punk artists come out, musicians now, several come out and being like, when did America become such a bunch of pussies? Like everybody's so afraid of offending people. And what happens is when you push the pendulum too far one way, it swings back really hard the other way. And I'm thinking we're going to wind up having another cultural revolution where people are so tired of everything being safe and sanitized, and social media sanitizing everything, and that the pushback is going to be fierce. And we're going to see some really weird shit. Maybe not now, but like 5-10 years from now, when people are basically fed up and we're like, we have to be human. It's one thing to take other people into consideration, but we're still people. We got to be people. Got to be allowed to speak our mind, or we're going to keep it bottled up, and that's going to get really messy.
I'm just tired. And beyond the whole cancel thing, I think the TV is boring is because they're afraid to take chances on things because they don't want to lose money. So they just want to reboot everything they know was popular back in the 80s and has already been invented. So they don't have to be creative on their own, but they do it in such a way that killed what made it popular in the first place. And then they don't understand people don't like it.
Yeah, and then you're called names.
Yeah, it's not because maybe they did a shitty job. And I think that's part of it too. When your constant takeaway is, maybe we didn't do well. It used to be, if I didn't do well, what did I do wrong? What could I do better? Now it's, I didn't do well. It's not my fault because I'm perfect and best as ever because I'm me. It's all your fault. You're all haters. You need to be stopped. And then we keep going down this hole, and it just leads to more and more boring things. And people are turning their backs on this shit, and they're coming to channels like ours because they're tired of this crap.
Yeah, because everything is just safe and sanitized and sterilized. And somebody put up a post yesterday. They're talking about all the reboots. I can't remember. I think it was a comic book writer. Can't remember who it was off the top of my head. And they're talking about all the race swapping and the gender swapping that they're doing in comics now. And the reason that they do it, and which we've talked about before, was because they have an established brand like Superman or Wonder Woman or whatever. She-Ra. And they want to just diversify because they want to basically please two masters, and you wind up pleasing nobody. So you're going to basically take an existing character or an existing franchise and then, shoehorning present day sensibilities into that. And it doesn't work because you're just pissing everybody off.
It was made for its time. It doesn't translate now. And what made it special, what made it, ahead of the curve, what made it popular then, are things that you're taking out of it now. So it doesn't do well. And you're like, well, why didn't this work? It's like, how about you just make new things? Inspired by those things.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's like we're not getting, we've talked about this before. It's like the record is skipping. Like we are stuck in a time loop. We're living freaking Groundhog Day with TV, except we're getting, every go round, we're getting a worse iteration of a much better show. And it's like we peaked in the 90s or early 2000s, then we just like stopped making new stuff.
Right. Just, and he's right. Everything's getting boring and it's across the board. Art is supposed to push boundaries. You might not always agree with it. I've seen many pieces of art that, I was like, wow, that's not what I would do, or I would never buy that. That's not the point. The point is it's supposed to make you think. And whether it be actual, art on a canvas or, something like, a TV show. And we're not seeing that anymore. We're only seeing that you're only allowed to use certain formulas and everything has to be cookie cutter the same, or certain mandates have to be pushed in every show ever. So there's never, it's the exact same diversity issue, just in reverse.
Yeah, and everything is boring. I can't think of too many, like looking at a lot of the new shows coming out on Netflix or HBO Max or whatever, I'm like, this looks like a snooze fest. Or this looks like it was another show or borrowed heavily from another show, but they're not going to push any boundaries. They're not going to take any chances. You can look at them and size it up and be like, yep, here's where the company mandates came in as to they got to do this and that and whatever. And yeah, it is. It's safe and it's boring. And the shows that really resonated with people, the movies that resonated with people, and stood the test of time were breakout successes. You know, again, going back to Seinfeld, there was nothing like it on TV.
Well, Hollywood's going off a cliff in a bad way, and people are turning their attention to independent channels, shows, whatever, to find their entertainment, because at least, you know, they're authentic, and at least they aren't censoring every other thing.
Yeah. And this is why they hate YouTube. This is why they hate social media.
Now they're trying to come in here and take that over too, so it could be more of the same.
Yeah, so what'll happen is they'll push out the independent creators from YouTube and they'll move on to some other platform because Hollywood's going to come in and ruin that too.
I wonder if he wanted to do something and he got told no, like he had a show or something idea and he got told it was too.
I don't know.
But you can't do that because it'll offend too many people or something. Because it's weird that he doesn't say much usually and then jumped in with this. So it makes me kind of wonder if something recently happened where he was trying to pitch something. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know. But that's what it kind of reminds me of. So,
well, I'm sitting here thinking, like, you know, looking at The Simpsons. Like, The Simpsons used to roast Hollywood. They used to roast Disney. They used to roast...
Oh, well, Disney owns them now, so they're not allowed to do that.
And you look at, you know, Itchy and Scratchy and Poochie, you know, where they try to bring a new character in to make it hip and whatever, and the show just went off the rails. And that's basically The Simpsons at this point. You know, they lost half their voice cast. They had to replace them because they were afraid of offending people by having,
and then they end up offending the people that they were trying to not offend by removing the character in the first place.
Right. I mean, it's just, yeah, and it's...
By not offending, usually mean a bunch of white women on Twitter. Not always, but usually
don't offend the white women on Twitter.
So, are we wrapping this up?
I think we're going to wrap this up. So, again, not 100% clear on what he said. I take it to mean that he's like, people just won't take chances because they're afraid of personally
Whether
getting
he means the TV show or cancel culture in general, it applies both ways.
Yeah, it's all boring. Everything's sterile and boring, and we got to be... You know, we have to start taking chances again.
Nothing new is created if it's just the same thing over and over again.
Created by committee. The show.
Yeah, no new thought can ever occur if it's just the same thing over and over again. It's more about controlling the thought than it is about, you know, having new thoughts and moving forward.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up?
Yep.
Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.